I'm gonna jump right into it, Erwin. Of course, a good evening to you, and a good evening to our distinguished listeners wherever in the world you're tuning in from. We thank you. My name is Miguel Anthony Melbourne. This week on Melbourne Motivation, I'm excited to introduce a friend, a super athlete, and a true role model. Let me tell you a little bit more. Steward Ceus was born and raised in West Haverstraw, New York. His parents, immigrants from Haiti, always pushed him to excel in all aspects of life. As a student in high school, he proved to be an exceptional athlete in soccer, basketball, and tennis while maintaining straight A's and graduating at the top of his class. Following high school, Stu earned an academic scholarship as well as an athletic scholarship to play soccer at SUNY Albany. And after 4 years of a stellar college career, which include being named America East Goalkeeper of the Year, Stu decided to follow his dreams of becoming a professional soccer player. His illustrious MLS career include playing for the New York Cosmos and Haiti's national team, where he competed in the 2015 Gold Cup and qualifying World Games. Currently, Stu is the owner of Haverstraw United FC, a soccer club based in his hometown. And his goal is to channel his dedication to the game and passion for teaching to inspire leaders of tomorrow. So with that, my brother Stu, can you hear me? How are you feeling? How are you doing today?
Thanks for the intro. I appreciate it a lot. I'm feeling great. I appreciate you having me on the show, and I'm looking forward to talking.
Absolutely. No, this is amazing. We went to college together, and when you talk about being a fan of someone who's an athlete, that is me. So this is an absolute honor for us to be catching up right now. And so, Stu, there are few sports that magnifies cultural pride in the Caribbean community like the game of soccer or football, as some of us call it. But I do want to start by saying, of course, on behalf of myself, the entire Caribbean community at large, man, massive congratulations to all the things that you have achieved in the sports too.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And, it was a lot of hard work, but well worth every bit of it. And it's been a great ride.
Well, Stu, here's the thing. You made your mark as a goalkeeping specialist. Now, if you ask me, that looks like one of the most fun positions on a soccer field, but at the same time, literally one of the most frightening positions. And so I want to start by asking you, what are just some of the physical and mental gifts that make for a great goalkeeper? And when did you realize you had a superior talent for this position that could take you to the pros?
Good question. Goalkeeper is an interesting position because it's a specialized position. I think the main part is obviously having a really good knowledge of the game of soccer and understanding what's supposed to be happening on the field in front of you. I started as a field player, so I had a good base of soccer and very technically sound player. And then just on top of that, I played basketball, I played tennis, so there were just a lot of different skill sets I was building while also growing as a soccer player. And I think just, my reflexes and hand-eye coordination and balance and, and ability to move, horizontally as well as jumping up and down is something that definitely started to help me specialize as a goalkeeper. Just basketball footwork, translating into tennis footwork, translating into everything that I need for the goal. It kind of was cool to see that all work out at some point. And yeah, I think I knew early on that I had skills with catching, just even in elementary school playing dodgeball, I can catch anything thrown at me. So there was moments where I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then when I finally got in the goal, I was like, oh, it's all coming together now. And, I got to do all the parts of sports that I like to do in one position.
Wow. Stu, I knew about the basketball. That makes sense to me. I could understand how it translates over to soccer. That's familiar for me. Now, understanding you're good at tennis, that's new territory. Tennis is one of the hardest sports I've ever tried in my life. And so that's also very interesting. It makes sense why you're such a superior athlete. And I'm sure it also helps to be about 6'6". If there's one thing I'd like for you to loan to me, Stu, is that 6'6".
Did not hurt. The height did not hurt at all. But that came later on.
That
came right before I got to college. So
that came. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. Still. But here's what I wanted to ask you next, right? And just to give some perspective, out of all the male players that play soccer in college, only about 1.4% is going to make it to the pros. That's just for some perspective to understand the journey that you have been on, right? And of course, that is an extreme difference compared to the number of players that have that dream of making it to the pros. And so, Stu, for a brief moment, I want our listeners to live vicariously through you for a moment. What did it actually feel like to get drafted into Major League Soccer? And was there one or two things that you think prepared you for that moment at such an age?
Yeah, it was one of the greatest feelings as a young kid for me, getting drafted. It was a lot of work that I put into the journey. I spent a lot of years just like contemplating being at that position. I remember reading some articles from when I was in high school, and I was telling the newspaper that, I wanted to go to college and then go pro soccer. And, I went to college and I started to apply things that I was seeing around me. And, I was blessed to meet some very good mentors in soccer for me who helped me understand what was going to be expected of me as a pro. And I just kind of started putting together what I thought was going to be the lifestyle of a professional while I was in college. So, I started dedicating myself to the extra gym work, to the extra time, just running the streets of wherever I was living, whether it was in Rockland County, West Haverstraw. I was running miles in the street. You can see me anytime running, or at Albany doing extra work, running around the campus, or however I can get an extra workout in outside of being with my teammates. I was very, very diligent in doing extra work. So, even in high school, I was up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, getting ready for college. And then in college, it was the same idea, just doing way extra work and just making sure I'm not missing anything.
Wow. For a kid to have dreams of being like one of their favorite pro athletes, it's a difficult thing to conceptualize, but I love some of the things that you just mentioned, right? One, believing it's possible. So speaking it before you even got there, mentorship, the hard work. And I love what you said there about, emulating the lifestyle in college before you even got to the pros. That is fantastic insight and input. And I'm hoping some of our listeners are really inspired, especially the youth that have the love of soccer in their heart right now. And so, Stu, I wanted to touch on some more moments. I'm living vicariously through you right now, right? Because one of the most magical things in sports is for an athlete to represent the country of their heritage on the global stage. And you have done that by representing Haiti's national team. Stu, that's legendary stuff. It sounds so simple, but this is stuff of legend. And so can you just give us some, or what I want to ask really is, can you just give some insight on how meaningful, right, that has been for you? And just thinking of all the appearances that you've made for Haiti on the national stage, is there any one moment that just stands out as your favorite?
I would say there are two moments. Obviously, the first one being my initial call up to the national team, which was surreal. I remember I always set goals, right? I set goals, long-term, short-term goals, and on my goal list was making the Haitian national team.
Wow.
The first way around, right? And so I get the call up, and it's one of the biggest phone calls I've ever received. Being told of the interest in me, and that they're looking to get me prepared to start playing with the national team. And I think my first call up was in the Caribbean Cup, I believe. I played in the Caribbean Cup, and then soon after that, I was in World Cup qualifying for Haiti. And just those games right there were just like the energy you feel in the stadium. And it was actually my first time going to Haiti was with the national team. So it was like a double dose of just surreal. Being in Haiti for the first time, that being in the national stadium for the first time, and just feeling the support of home, like real life home fans, filling out the Haitian Sylvio Couture Stadium, and the stadium rocking for every single. You feel the stadium rocking with Haiti in the background, the views from the stadium, the smells from the stadium, like are things that I will never forget personally. Yeah, 100%. I would say the other situation would be qualifying for Copa America with Haiti. We ended up playing Trinidad and Tobago in Trinidad. an away game, which is probably one of the biggest games of my life, of my career ever that I played.
Wow.
We ended up winning 1-0, and I made one of the bigger saves of my life in that game to help Haiti qualify for the biggest tournament in the history of soccer outside of the World Cup. So
Wow.
it was definitely one of the biggest moments, and one that I'll never forget, and never, it still gives me goosebumps to this day when I see videos of it, of those moments. And
Wow.
like my former teammates, it gets posted or reposted, and it's just like always a good feeling.
It's amazing, Stu. I'm getting chills hearing you talk about it, and I'm sure the Haitian community, our listeners listening right now, I'm sure they're filled with pride beyond belief. I'm sure some of our Trinidadian listeners are like, "Oh, you were the one." But just know that we're extremely proud of you, and the hard work that you've put in to be able to speak about these life experiences is amazing. And so, as we come to a close, you've taken your dedication to the sport, Stu, and you've created Haverstraw United Football Club. Why did you create this organization? Who does it serve? And just what are some of the outcomes that you're working towards?
Yeah, so me and my partner Arden, we've been really thinking about building something special in the hometown of Haverstraw. And I've been coaching for quite a while now. I spent a long time, most of my career, I was always coaching on, working with, whether it was teams or individuals, depending on which cities I was and how long I was in the city. I would always try to help athletes in the area, start to think and feel like they can contribute at a high level. And that translated into just wanting to coach more and really starting to, be energized by it, to the point now where, some of the kids I coached while I was living in Colorado or living in Minneapolis are now pro players themselves, or, college D1, D2, D3 players. And as I've been doing this, I came back to New York and I started, I was running my private coaching academy or training academy, Ceus Sporting Academy. And through that, I was able to get into a lot of different clubs and, help build certain programs and help their field players, their goalkeepers. But I felt that I still wasn't reaching at the capacity that I would like to with the athletes. And I feel like I needed to take a more hands-on approach to really be able to mold the players as I would like, because I feel like there were a lot of other hands on deck in a lot of the other situations. And the way I am, I like to be all my energy in one place. And I feel with Haverstraw United, it's giving me the opportunity to instill my training methodology. That I go about sports with a certain amount of intensity that I want my players, that I need to translate to players. And and with Haverstraw FC, I get to to have the grit of the people that I came from, right? So I know what the feeling of the athletes are here. I know what they aspire to be, and I feel like they haven't been given the opportunity to perform at that level. And I just want to be here and give them those opportunities and give them the platform to reach their goals and shoot beyond their goals, and know that there's bigger goals that they can set, and there's somebody that they can look at that has been there. So yeah.
Absolutely. Stu, as you mentioned, just hearing the insight, your representation matters so much. And for someone that's made it to that level, I'm sure, the students that you work with are just beyond inspired every single day. So we definitely want to thank you for the work that you're doing. This is an initial conversation. As you continue to build, please keep us informed. And so we'll leave it right there, Stu. How can our listeners, right? How can they connect with you? How can they follow your movement? How do they reach out if they want to learn more?
Great question. So for me personally, you can always, follow what I'm doing on social media. I'm on Instagram as Steward Ceus. You can follow me right there. And with everything I'm doing with the club, you can follow Haverstraw United FC on Instagram. And if you have any questions or interested in participating, you can email us at info@haverstrawunitedfc.com.
Fantastic. We'll leave it right there. Stu, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having this conversation with us tonight. We talk about hometown here, and when we talk about community leaders, you are represented. And so thank you. We will talk again. Erwin, I'm not sure if you're able to hear me or if I'll be able to hear you, but I'm sure you are a soccer guy, Erwin. I'm sure there's, you must enjoy this. So thank you so much. And, Erwin, we will connect next week. Ladies and gentlemen, my personal and professional goals are to help the youth be best prepared for college. Visit pathwaytopurposenyc.com. Use the code IRE for a discount when purchasing our college study flashcard. Follow Melbourne Motivation, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Until next time, please be safe and live with big energy. Erwin, next week.
Thank you.